news coming in from the Indian Navy a week after the accident on the INS Sindhuratna. Another accident with the Indian Navy. A naval officer has died on an under construction ship, the yet to be commissioned INS Kolkata, which is a Project 15 destroyer, one of the most advanced warships. A naval officer has died, and possibly what could have been caused by a malfunction of the firefighting system in the engine room. That's what we are hearing. It's the death of a commanding rank officer. This was docked at the Mazagaon docks in Mumbai, where this accident has taken place. Let's not forget, it is not even 2 weeks since the INS Sindhuratna, which was Wednesday before last, killed 2 naval soldiers on the submarine as it was approaching Mumbai as well. This latest accident brings a new twist to the Navy's ongoing tryst with accidents. My colleague Nitin Gokhale now joins us for more. Nitin, the Navy's stars clearly all in the wrong place right now. What do we know about this latest accident?
Well, certainly, yes, if we take the larger picture, Maya, but in this case, it must be made clear to the viewers that it is not the Navy's operational ship. It is not yet in the hands of the Navy. This ship is under construction. It was to be commissioned 3 or 4 months down the line. It is second of the Kolkata class of ships that are being produced and manufactured in the Mazagaon Docks Limited, which is a defense public sector undertaking. It is still under construction. The Navy has nothing to do with it except for sending its officers to inspect various systems. And we are told in this particular case, this naval officer, a commander rank officer, whose name we are withholding until the Navy tells us that his next of kin has been informed, was along with the other Mazagaon Dock employees, civilian engineers and workers, was testing the firefighting unit or equipment of the engine room of this destroyer, which is under construction. More or less finished, but finishing touches were being given. That's when something happened, either an explosion in the CO2, the carbon dioxide cylinder, or the carbon dioxide leaked from that cylinder, and this officer inhaled carbon dioxide beyond permissible limits, is what we are being told by our sources in the Mazagaon Docks and the Indian Navy.
Right.
And he died there itself before he could be taken to hospital. Others have got injured, and that kind of accident has happened. Maya?
Right, Nitin, and you're saying let's not forget that this ship was still under construction, the destroyer. Nonetheless, what does it say about the kind of maybe machines that the Navy is getting for itself? The INS Sindhuratna, it was about a contract with the batteries possibly that weren't replaced in time. Technical difficulties as far as the Navy is concerned on their vessels?
Well, certainly initial reports in INS Sindhuratna did suggest some battery malfunction could have caused that fire and smoke. But later we have come to understand that the cables which are in the bulkhead, which are inside the panel which is there in the submarine, they caught fire. That created the smoke, and it killed those 2 officers. But that apart, that inquiry is on, will not come to that conclusion. But yes, the Indian Navy among the 3 armed forces is the most indigenized service, if I may use that word, that it is using Indian equipment. 46 of the 47 ships that are on order to be joining the Indian Navy in the next 2-3 years are being constructed or manufactured by Indian shipyards. And of course, there is no compromise on quality. But certainly in this particular case, there's going to be questions raised whether the safety measures were followed to the book or they were flouted. What was wrong, we still don't know. So I'll not come to any conclusion, but certainly a matter of concern that as it is, the ships are delayed beyond their stipulated deadlines. And then on top of that, you have these accidents even before they join the service, as it has happened in this particular case. So that's going to be a matter of concern for the Defence Ministry to look at, not just the Indian Navy. Defence Ministry, remember, controls the shipyards, the defence shipyards, and they have to now look at the functioning of the shipyards, and they're not meeting the deadlines, and then maybe rushing through some of the works could be one of the reasons for what we are seeing now.
Right, Nitin, stay with us. Imtiaz Jaleel also joins us for more. Imtiaz, you have some details on this accident as well. Tell us what authorities are saying about what actually took place.
Well, Maya, let me tell you, the Navy has just issued a 4-line press release which doesn't give much details except for the fact they say the accident occurred when some machinery trials were going on, and in that accident 1 officer died and 2 others, because of the leak of the carbon dioxide when that cylinder exploded, because of which they have been rushed to hospital. I'm standing right in front of the Mazagaon dock where this accident has occurred. But let me tell you, whoever is responsible, that will be known only after an inquiry is conducted. But definitely this one more accident is going to raise a number of questions. And as Nitin rightly said, the Navy cannot be held responsible for that. But ultimately, it's one officer who has died in this. And this has come after Admiral D.K. Joshi had to resign as Navy Chief, owning moral responsibility for a series of accidents, including the 2 aboard submarines. The latest accident now here would raise serious questions over the quality, the workmanship, the supplies, and whether necessary precautions are at all taken when these types of works are being carried on. So, number of questions that need to be answered. As of now, not much details coming out. And as Nitin said, one officer has died. We know the name of the officer, but we are holding till the time the Navy comes on record and discloses his identity. So the fact now is one officer has died and 2 of them have been admitted to the hospital here in this accident that has happened in the Mazagaon dockyard.
Right, Imtiaz and Nitin, thanks very much for joining us with all these details. We are also getting reactions from former naval officers, also political reactions coming in, but let's get you a sense of what people are saying about this latest accident.
I think it's a terrible loss for an officer of the rank of commander to be lost on a ship that is building. Of course, the inquiry will bring up the circumstances leading to it, but yeah, that's a very unfortunate case. It's a very, very, very unfortunate case. I don't know, one can't really piece them together to get any pattern out of this. I think they are disparate incidents. Accidents are indeed very expensive. There is also a deep, besides the personal loss, there's a great training effort and time spent in bringing an officer to this level. It is a very unfortunate incident.
For the Navy, or for that matter, any institution, any family, to lose somebody in the prime of their youth in this manner is cause for great sadness. And for the Navy, we also had the tragedy on the INS Sindhuratna, where we had lost 2 officers. So I think at that level, this is something that causes anguish and sadness. And I'm sure that the Mazagaon docks will carry out the appropriate investigation. There is some talk already about malfunction and suggestion that it was a carbon dioxide unit that had led to this entire sequence of events. When a ship is under construction, you have a lot of piping. Now, if you look at any ship, whether merchant or warship, pipes are constructed for carrying different types of either a liquid or gas. Now, carbon dioxide, as you know, has a very important function, both in terms of cooling and the kind of air conditioning that we have to use on board. There are other uses where you have, I would say, the carbon dioxide, they are stored or they are piped required, depending on the requirement. So from the preliminary reports that we are getting, they are talking about a gas leak, and that this in turn had led to a situation where the workers on board may have been affected, and that in turn this led to an explosion. An explosion would suggest that there was also a certain amount of fire that would have been involved that led to the explosion. So that is the sequence as of now, but this is very preliminary. So I would only say that this is a ship under construction, and if you are familiar with this particular activity, there is all kinds of activity going on, including welding, depending on which stage the ship is in terms of its construction. So there are many units, many teams working in different compartments. Each of them has a task, and it's a very complex task of putting it together. Pending the investigation, until we get more, I would say, details, it perhaps would not be appropriate to try and either speculate or conjecture.
A ship under construction, a brand new ship in Mazagaon docks, is not manned by the Navy at all. It would have had people, the workers of Mazagaon docks and the officers of Mazagaon docks who are working in that space. Until a ship is taken to sea, You don't even have a small part of the ship's company on board. When the ship is commissioned, only then the entire Indian Navy walks in. So this, I presume, is the officer of Mazagaon Docks, who's a permanent employee of the Mazagaon Docks, and they were fitting out the ship, and one of them must have been the firefighting system, and this is an accident caused by a CO2 container explosion. So therefore, the Navy has nothing to do with it.
Well, as Nitin pointed out, this isn't just something the Indian Navy needs to be concerned about, but the Defence Ministry as a whole. And let's not forget, it is election season. There's a lot of political capital to be made out of these accidents. Now, the BJP is calling this accident shocking news and asking for A.K. Antony to resign immediately.
Today, there is an accident in Mumbai wherein yet another naval officer has lost his life. We pay homage to him, but how many homages will be paying to such brave soldiers? This is absolutely unthinkable. A new warship is being built and there is an accident. If these kinds of accidents happen because it's not a foolproof plan, we have completely neglected the requirements of Navy. The Congress government has many things to answer.